Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Accessible Adventures. This is episode 2, Navigating Sensory Overload at Walt Disney World. I am Colwyn Dunlap, and my co-host over there is Frances Wampler.
Hey, y'all. So glad y'all are back for episode 2. I can't believe we're back for episode 2. I don't know. I was excited for episode 1, and now I'm excited for episode 2. Episode 2, part 1.
Yeah, part 1. I should have said that. Episode 2, part 1, which is a little strange because then next time it's going to be episode 3, part 2. I feel like Star Wars.
Yeah. Yes. And then, the next time it'll be like the spinoff from episode 2.
Uh-huh.
Part whatever.
Yeah.
So, it'll be fine. Yeah,
it's fine. Whenever we decided to make this change, I in post I was thinking like, we could be Star Warsy. It's Disney related, It's also cool,
It is. It's all the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
But no, we've had some good reactions to the first episode. It's made me wonder if we shouldn't get like another form of social media going, like Instagram, TikTok. You can do the TikTok. And then I would do I guess I could do the Instagram, maybe a Facebook.
Yeah. The people need to tell us. What do you want?
Yes.
What is your preferred method of connection with us? I mean, outside of YouTube and email, where can we build more of a community with y'all? Is that Facebook? Is that Instagram? Is it TikTok? I really hope it's not. But
yeah, I don't want.
Yeah, I enjoy TikTok, but it's a whole nother layer. So, what do the people want?
Yeah, and would you want to see us do some YouTube Shorts or Reels, or something like that, like on Facebook, that are similar to TikTok? Would you like us to do that? That's something else to consider. But so we're here today to discuss, sensory overload and stuff like that. But first, Frances, do you want to tell them what we're doing tonight?
Oh, special announcement section.
Yeah.
These are my favorites. So, episode 1 went super well. We did share it with some of our friends and on different support groups, and we were invited to the AMC SI Together Tuesday. If you're watching this Saturday, this happened this past Tuesday, but you can go look on their website or maybe on Facebook and catch the recap. But we were invited to Together Tuesday to kind of chat about our podcast and our new adventure with Accessible Adventures. So definitely check that out. Give them some love. Shout out to Annie for inviting us. I'm so excited about the opportunity to share what we're doing here and what we hope to accomplish. So
yeah, I'm really excited about that too. It was a big surprise to see that like literally 2 days after I posted the video, hey, you want to come do this? I'm like, we've only posted one video. Okay, sure. No pressure.
I know. Whenever I got your message, I was like, the people, they love us. Like, we've made it. And then I went to the views and I was like, we have 12 views. It's so exciting.
Yeah. So, I think we're at 24 now, actually. Yeah.
So if you haven't watched episode 1 yet, it is just kind of a good overview, introduction of who we are, how we met 25 years ago. I think we said 22 years in our intro, but it's closer to 25. It's closer to 25. So definitely check out episode 1. No matter what episode you're catching us now, episode 1 is just a good introduction of who we are, how we met, and what is Accessible Adventures. And leave us some comments along the way. What do you want to debate with Colwyn? Not with me, just with him. He's the debater. Or what questions or concerns do you have for us? You can put those down in the comments. Or if you want to send us a personal message, you can do that through email, accessibleadventurespod@gmail.com.
I don't know what you mean by I'm the debater. You're argumentative too.
I think I just like slid that in there. Like I thought like maybe you weren't going to like pick up on it, but I saw your face and it didn't change. And I was like, he's not going to let me get away.
Nope.
With that.
Nope. I know better. I know better. I'm not going to be thrown under the bus. Nope.
Hey, the bus was moving. I was just hoping you weren't going to pick up on who sent the bus.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, exciting to chat more about sensory overload. We talked about it a little bit on episode 1, and really we want to like meet more needs than just arthrogryposis. That's what we talked a lot about. That's how Colwyn and I know each other. We were both born with arthrogryposis, but really disabilities can look like anything. So we want to really cover all the things that we have experience with, but then also hear from our followers and our fans. So send us some love down in the comments or via email, and we will continue to kind of hash that out. But my oldest son is on the autism spectrum. We found out when he was 11, and so many things made sense when we found out. So many things that we thought, God, parenting is just really hard, and we're just doing a really bad job. But it just kind of all started to make sense. And as he gets older, he's almost 16 now, traveling to the Disney parks looks differently than it did when we went when he was 8. He has some sensory needs. He gets a little bit overwhelmed, particularly with Hollywood Studios, which is a nice segue into what we're going to kind of chat about next. But we really just want to chat about kind of our experience with like sensory needs at the parks. We're going to cover here during part 1 Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
And just some quiet places that you can kind of step away from all the hustle and bustle of the parks, besides just hopping on a bus and going back to your room to take a break, because that could take an hour, you know. And if you need a break, if you need a break now, headed back to the room might not be the best option. So giving the people some ideas.
That's something else, is that, you know, you say it could take an hour, but a lot of times, especially if you're staying at like a friendly neighbor hotel, the buses only come like once an hour. So you could be sitting out there waiting at the bus stop for a long time. I mean, that's something that Luna and I did this last time. Well, we were at, I want to say it was Epcot. I think it was Epcot it was Animal Kingdom. It was Animal Kingdom that we were sitting there for like an hour and a half after the park had closed, waiting for, and not like we were there at the bus stop for an hour and a half, waiting for the bus to take us back to our hotel. I'm not going to name the hotel because I love that hotel, but, you know, and it was fantastic otherwise. But that was the only complaint that I could have about that entire experience, was that it was long. Like, several of us called and we couldn't get any good straight answers, you know. So it's something to consider, you know. If you have a place that you can go that doesn't require you to go somewhere where you might encounter more people, or you know, be out in the open for so long, you know, if that's really what you need, that's what you need. But it's just something to consider, you know. And with how intense Disneyland or any of these theme parks, Disney World, Universal, any of them, can be, having areas that you can go to kind of get away, but you're still there, is ideal.
Yeah, getting that quiet space, knowing that transportation could take you a while to get back to your room. We want to give you some ideas. In part 2, we'll talk about the other parks. We'll talk about Epcot and Animal Kingdom, and then we'll also cover the DAS Pass. So that's Disney's Disability Access Services Pass, and we'll cover that in part 2.
So should I go ahead and get up Hollywood Studios? Should we go ahead
Let's do it.
Start that up? All right, let me get my notes up here, folks. Give me like 10-15 seconds to get my notes up and ready to go.
1.
Oh, nice. She's counting again.
2. I think that's happened a few times today. I'm like counting you down. You said 6 seconds.
I said 10 or 15 seconds. I didn't say 6 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well.
All right. Yeah. Huh. Well, I'm not in Magic Kingdom already. No, get back up. No, there we go.
Nope.
All right.
Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, let's start with Hollywood Studios. I wish I was in Magic Kingdom right now. What? Yeah.
Take me there.
Right. All right. So top of the list of places to go in Hollywood Studios. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and give this a little bit preface here. The way that I organize these parks were in what did the worst, which I don't want to say that Hollywood Studios is the worst at something, but we're being honest here. It's definitely not the best whenever it comes to places to seclude yourself in silence or whatever, get out of the crowds. This has the fewest and most inconsistent spots for that need. I also would say that it is, in my opinion, the most claustrophobic of the parks. The whole thing feels like a big city, and it looks like a big city. If you're not used to that, then you're not used to that, and it will give you culture shock. So, woo. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hollywood Studios is probably the most challenging park for us in thinking about like my son and his needs. Like he struggles the most at Hollywood Studios. And I know you and I have talked about that a lot, but there's so much going on. There's people and it's hot and there's a lot of walking. And then you've got like the sounds of the rides and you've got the music they're piping in and the smells they're piping in. And then, all the snack smells around you. Like it can be a lot. And so Hollywood Studios is definitely at the top of our list. Like you said, it's not really the worst, but it is probably the most challenging when I think about sensory overload. Hollywood Studios is at the top.
So the top place to go, in our opinion, would be Star Wars Launch Bay. It doesn't look like much on the outside, but on the inside, it's really, really cool. One of the other drawbacks is it's open from 9 to 5, so it closes long before the park does, and you only have a limited amount of time to go in. But inside is air conditioned. You have all the memorabilia, the costumes, models, props, the music. If music is kind of what helps you calm down like it does me, that would help, especially if it's like the Star Wars music. I love that music. But it tends to be a very low-key and quiet place. A lot of people just kind of wander in and wander out. So, but again, it closes at 5.
It does. And when you're thinking about like a Star Wars area, I mean, Galaxy's Edge is like the big area in Hollywood Studios, but Star Wars Launch Bay is not in Galaxy's Edge.
I don't even think it's close to it, is it?
It's not even really close to it. So when you come into the park, you go straight back like you're going to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and it's kind of off to the right. It's not Sunset Boulevard, so you kind of keep going, and then you'll see it down there kind of off to the right, close to like the Nick Jr. on stage kind of area. It's in that area of the park. There are some areas where the lighting is a little bit lower, so I think it's a good kind of ambient place. I mean, there is some music, but it's not like loud and obnoxious. It's pretty subtle, a little bit more quiet. Like you said, it's air conditioning. So if you're there in the summer, it is hot and you need a break, that right there is going to give you instant gratification. Being air conditioned. So definitely a must stop.
The next one is Muppets Courtyard. It doesn't have a lot of crowds on it on the average day or running through it. In fact, if you head back toward Mama Melrose's, which is an Italian restaurant, I believe, right?
It is. It's one of our favorites. You have to go through that kind of courtyard and you'll see it kind of back there before you would kind of head back and swoop back around for Galaxy's Edge. But I don't think a lot of people know it's back there. Yeah,
we didn't know where it was. We almost went to eat there, but we were feeling a little, a little exhausted after having spent the entire day there, and we're like, all right, we just feel like going back to the hotel, or and I'm a huge fan of nighttime spectaculars, and Phantasmic wasn't going on at the time. So I'm like, I don't have anything else I want to do. So we're like, all right, we'll just head on back. We ended up going to the Cracker Barrel there in Orlando. So that was what we did.
Sometimes you need that escape from the parks for a minute. I mean, I love Mama Melrose, and that whole area is really nice. Like, it goes pretty far back there, and there's not really a ton of people. But sometimes you just kind of need that break. So, you know. Works.
Yeah, and see, another thing that I wanted to mention was that one of my favorite places in Hollywood Studios is Pizza Rizzo. And it's big, and you can have... That's one of the things that I was surprised with, was just how big and expansive it is. And even in the middle of the day, you can find a good place to sit down. Sure, there's a lot of people, but you can find a good place to sit down. It's air-conditioned. If you have, if you're hungry, they make pretty good pizza for a theme park, in my opinion. My wife and I are both big pizza fans, and we were pretty impressed with their pizza.
They have a nice little seating area outside too. So even if you don't need to sit inside, there's some tables that do have like some umbrella coverage. So it's not terrible.
Yeah, and it's only like a couple 100 feet from the Muppets courtyard, right? I think.
Yeah, it's not that far at all. Like, you're headed to Galaxy's Edge. It's on the left, so back behind like Miss Piggy's little fountain. Back there. It's a nice secluded space.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last one that we wanted to touch on, and I hesitated putting it in here because of its inconsistency, is Pixar Place. When it's open, note that when it's open, it is a calm place to sit down and rest. It's located just down the stairs next to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and on the way to Toy Story Land. So it's usually a quiet spot, possibly a few guests, maybe taking photos in front of the Incredibles murals there, but that's really all you're going to find if it's open.
Yeah. That little area back behind Mickey and Minnie's, just in general, if Pixar Place isn't open, there's some benches, there's a bathroom, there's a jaw freeze, coffee right there.
What?
I know that's your jam. There's also a kiosk.
Yummy.
It's past jaw freeze, and I forget what it's called. I keep wanting to call it something that it's not. We'll have to look up the name and put it on the screen. But they have like sodas and pretzels, but they have Jack Jack's Nom Nom cookie. And let me tell you, this cookie is so good. If you like chocolate, you like sweet, like chocolate chip cookies, they are shareable. I have a picture of one from that little area that we ate. There was a group of 11 of us, so we got like 3 and split them between the kids. And I was like, man, for like a theme park chocolate chip cookie, it was really good. So another good area to just find a bench, shady spot, grab a snack, or if mom needs a coffee, dad needs a shot of espresso, whatever, take some time and just kind of relax. It's usually pretty shaded. There's some trees, and with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway in the front, you can usually find a pretty shady spot back there.
Yeah, the thing with that would be, I would say be careful with it, because a lot of times Pixar Place doesn't have much shade. So, if like we were saying, if you're there in the middle of the summer, again, Pixar Place is kind of just a big, more interactive queue, but without, any shade or anything like that. It's basically a significantly less cool in more ways than one Pandora.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Just a small kind of area.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have hopes that it's gonna grow, with all the things that Disney's kind of adding to Pixar. And it leads right into Toy Story Land. So it's a good escape too. If you're in Toy Story Land, it overwhelms my son a lot. Toy Story Land has a lot going on. And so we know, like, we could just leave and just sit somewhere right outside, and that's right there in that same kind of area. So it works out. It's a nice little convenient place.
As for like if you wanted to go somewhere and actually kind of do something that is kind of like more of an attraction, Walt Disney Presents is a great option. You can kind of go through and see some memorabilia from the heyday of Disney and Disney World. There's a theater there that shows a really good video. It's only like 15 minutes long. I think it's called Man with a Dream or something like that, and it's solid, definite thing to watch. Even if you're not overwhelmed, I still recommend going and watching that.
Yeah. It's a good area for sure. I mean, it's air conditioned, right? It's kind of like a
It's a museum. It's basically it's like a museum on the outside and then the theater on the inside. I've gone to it a couple times, and the times that I have gone, I have not seen like more than a dozen people in the entire thing. You know.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So it's not overwhelming in the least. It's very comforting to me at least. So, you know. Do you want to say anything else about Hollywood Studios, or do we want to move on to Magic Kingdom?
The only thing I would say, if you're trying to stay away from kind of like the loud and busy Sunset Boulevard, where Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster can be really loud. There's lots of restaurants. Those two rides in particular are just loud, so you can hear like people screaming. And then like the stoplights are constantly kind of making noise. There is like a small little alcove, like about halfway down on your right. If you're headed towards the Tower of Terror, there's a bathroom there. It's kind of all the way at the back of that little alcove. There's not like benches or anything, but it's not a real busy kind of street because there's just the bathroom there. So if you needed to, you could sit on the curb. Just got to take a minute.
Yeah.
Use the facilities and then head back. And I love the Trolley Car Cafe.
Yeah, that's where... I haven't done the Trolley Car Cafe. We didn't do very much in the way of food there at Hollywood Studios, it's not a bad thing, but we weren't sure what to make of it because when we went, you know, we knew that we wanted to get on the Tower of Terror. We still didn't, but we were actually between Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror and sitting down at one of those benches, and because... you know, my wife and I had been riding rides for a huge chunk of the day. She was feeling a little motion sick, and I wasn't exactly the best. The heat was starting to get to me and stuff, and so I was like, I would probably be fine on Tower of Terror. I doubt she would have been.
Yeah.
So we opted to skip it. We're like, we'll be back. It's not going to go anywhere, you know. And it always scares me because that's one of the things that they keep talking about changing, and I'm like, don't do it, you know. So because they changed it at a couple of other Disney Worlds Disneylands across the world, and I'm like, don't do it to this one. Don't do it to this one, you know.
Yeah.
I'm also a big Twilight Zone fan, so and she's not. It scares her, but I love it. Yeah.
I really like it. The Trolley Car Cafe is actually Hollywood Studios Starbucks. Like they have Starbucks coffee, but they have this carrot cake cookie. I know you said like y'all weren't into the food as much, but like I'm a foodie.
So are we. I mean, but we just didn't get to have an opportunity there.
I'm like, I got to hunt down all the snacks.
Yeah.
There's a carrot cake cookie there. Again, shareable. I feel like cookie is like the theme here, cookies.
Probably.
But I like snacks.
Don't get us started on Gideon's. I'm just gonna say it right now. Don't get us started on Gideon's. We could talk about Gideon's for hours. That's
a whole nother episode. But it's a whole one.
Yeah.
It's a whole one.
Yeah.
So yes. Gideon's Cookies at Disney Springs. We will have to add that to the list.
Yeah, we'll just add Disney Springs to the list. But anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, so as far as food goes, you know, like there at Hollywood Studios, the one thing that I wanted to try is I want to try the brown hat. You know, trying to remember where we ate. We ate at Pizza Rizzo. We were going to eat at Pizza Rizzo and Mama Melrose's, but I wanted to go to the Sci-Fi Cafe because I love drive-in theaters and I love a cheesy sci-fi horror movie. You know, that's my jam. It's been my jam my entire life. And my dad and my mom and I and we've all gone to drive-in theaters and enjoyed the heck out of them. You know, my entire life too. So that just screams Colwyn,
Yeah.
that little area there. I'm sure it screams a lot of Disney fans. But that's like, those two are the top of the places that I want to eat the most at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, we did the Sci-Fi Diner. It's pretty fun. Mama Melrose is just like, I don't know. When I think of Hollywood Studios, like that's where my brain goes. Like Mama Melrose, flatbread, which is really like a personal pizza. So good. Okay, now I need to go have lunch and come back. But
all right, we're going to Florida. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's load up.
Well, we'll get tickets to Magic Kingdom. Speaking of which, anyway. So
good segue to our next park.
Good segue. Woohoo! Yeah. So Magic Kingdom, the icon of Disney World, has several places that are good for seclusion. These are still going to be mostly, people wandering in and out of these areas, but there's still an opportunity for you to sit down and kind of take a load off. The top one on our list is Center Street, just off of Main Street, USA. It's a side street that really doesn't lead anywhere, which is why it's good for what it does. There's some tables and chairs that you can sit at and relax. If Main Street is feeling crowded, you can just sit back and people watch. That's another thing that I like to do, is sit back and people watch. And at Disney World, people watching is hilarious and fun. And I even try to be one of the people that would be fun to watch at Disney World sometimes. I swear, if we could dress up, we would.
Mickey's not so scary. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Random.
Yeah, it's the only time the adults can dress up. I know. I bought a freaking blue jacket for Pirate Night, but whenever I put it on, I was like, this would go well with my Beast outfit that I'm planning. All right, So
yeah.
And she was like, well, maybe we can finally dress up if we go there in October. I'm like, yes, let's do that.
I was just about to say that. When the Halloween party is, right? It's in October.
Obviously October, yeah, which is when we're trying to plan a double family trip with the Womplers,
Yes.
So
everybody in the comments, tell him they need to come in October. Accessible Adventures takes Disney.
We do it. I'll bring a video camera. We'll do it. We'll live stream in there.
GoPro.
Yeah. But you can also find it right between Center Street. We're talking about here. You can find it right between Crystal Arts and Uptown Jewelers, kind of close to the Crystal Palace and Plaza, that area, right?
Yeah, so the plaza is the one on the right-hand side, and so it's right before you get there. If you've made it there, you've gone too far. Turn around and swing back. But yes, on the right side of the road there. Crystal Palace is at the very end on the left side. So it's like Crystal Palace on the left next to Casey's Corner, or, the plaza on the right. So I know way too much about the locations of things. I'm learning. I am the map. Have you seen that meme?
I have.
Yeah.
I kind of got that way a little bit with Universal's Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I've only gone there twice, and I remember where everything is in the Islands of Adventure. But whenever it comes to other places, I'm like, where am I? What world am I in right now?
What's the land that I'm in?
Yeah.
And if you keep going past all of that, there's this big open space, right in front of the castle. There's kind of some grassy areas. We like the one right in front of Crystal Palace.
Isn't that called the Hub?
I think that is called the Hub. It's just right there, and it's a good place to just sit and chill. My son likes the ground. The pressure of the ground is soothing for him, and so we can sit on the ground and not be in the middle of somebody's walkway. So yes, the Hub, that kind of central area, is a good place. There's not tables and chairs out there, but you can find a nice grassy place to sit. And as you start to head to towards Adventureland or Tomorrowland, there are some benches kind of along the way. You just kind of find them.
Yeah. So Liberty Square Gazebo in Liberty Square. Where did that come from? Is the next one on our list. It's kind of tucked away near the gazebo in Liberty Square, but it's right before you get to Ye Old Christmas Shop, which is one of my favorite places in all of Disney World. I love Christmas things, and year round, even adults can do this. I did it last year, or last time that we went. You can send letters to Santa if you want. You can run in and do that.
Mm-hmm. That's really sweet.
I didn't tell my wife this, and y'all are gonna be the first to know. She didn't know this either, but because I'm a big sentimentalist and still a believer, even at 38 years old, I sent Santa a letter, and I was like, "Thanks for an amazing wife. You know, she's the best gift I could ever get." You know, and I sent that out, and she doesn't know that I did that, and so she might find out by whenever she listens to this. You know, I didn't want to tell her, except for the next time I did it, and wherever we went, and I was gonna do it again. You know, so
that's so fun.
When we went, that was for our honeymoon. You know, and that's something that we want to do in our marriage is keep that kind of sentiment alive in our marriage, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that was just wonderful. But it's right there, you know, the gazebo is right around that area. The only time that it actually isn't a good idea to go there is, and even still go there, but during Christmas time. Because I think that's where you meet Santa, or at least there's character meet and greets there. But I think it may be where you have Santa, where they have Santa.
That's fun. I mean, it makes sense, like being right there next to the Christmas shop.
Yeah.
And then it's just such a nice place, like, and calm. Like, it makes sense to have a meet and greet there.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. The last real, like, area that you could go to that's pretty secluded and easy to get to is Tomorrowland Terrace Restaurant in Tomorrowland. It's usually used for nighttime spectacular, so like viewing whatever fireworks are going on at Cinderella's castle that night. But during the day, it's pretty much empty. The restaurant doesn't really operate, so you can just kind of go in and sit down, take a load off, and it has, because of, you know, it being a nighttime spectacular thing, it has a fantastic view of Cinderella's castle, and be a great place to take pictures and whatever else if you want to do that, or just sit there and enjoy the view and people watch even.
Yeah.
As for like attractions, or did you want to add anything about Tomorrowland Terrace or anything?
You know, we had left when we go in and we do like Adventureland first. So by the time we get to like to Tomorrowland, I'm like, let's do Tron and go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tapped out. So, but I do, I like that area. It's a little loud. Mm-hmm. Tomorrowland, I think, is a little bit louder than like Liberty Square.
Yeah.
So we typically kind of avoid that area, but even Tron has some nice little kind of sitting areas. So it's still loud because you're seeing the coaster kind of come through. But there's lots of benches. They've got that dome kind of over it, so you're in the shade. Mm-hmm. Not a specific spot, but while you're waiting, if you're waiting on your party, like find a good bench up there by Tron and relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Now, as for attractions, top of the list for attractions to do if you want to like calm down and just take kind of a slow stroll would be Tom Sawyer Island. But you know, you have to get on the boat and go across, and I don't remember ever going to Tom Sawyer Island. Whenever I went the first time or the second time, whenever we were wanting to go, it was storming and the boat wasn't running, so we couldn't go. But we really wanted to, and I'm a little bit bummed that they keep talking about like paving over the river and changing Tom Sawyer Island. I'm like, don't do it, because Tom Sawyer, controversial character that he is, you know, from the days of Mark Twain and that era, they want to try and go past that. which sure, but I don't want it to happen.
I know. Growth is always good, but painful.
Yeah.
You know, change is always exciting when new things come, but it's still kind of stinky sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. The only thing that I'd be like, the only one that I'd want them to replace it with is arguably as controversial as that. And I'm like, replace it with Tarzan. No, it's just as controversial. Dang it. You know.
But it's good too. I feel like Tarzan could really be like, I don't know, all of the classics, right? Like I want to see all the classics. And I know that like the classics aren't always like the best. Like some of the new stuff is good too. But I'm like, I want to see Tarzan.
I know, right?
Here.
Right?
It'd be fun. Yeah, they didn't have to, though.
Yeah. The People Mover is the other one, which apparently this one over here hasn't been on. Which is not a bad thing. I'm not going to say that it's not a bad thing. I definitely recommend it. But
I haven't. My husband is always like, let's do the People Mover. And I'm like, but I just want to get a Mickey ice cream and leave. Like I said, tomorrow, by the time I get to Tomorrowland, I'm tired.
If you want to get to Tomorrowland, I understand that you're tired and, you know, you can take a load off. You could go to the terrace and take a load off. Or
you could.
If you're also wanting to just take a break, there's some really cool shops that are right there by the People Mover, you know. Right before you get in line to the People Mover or after, you just go gallivanting around Tomorrowland.
There is some really good stuff in Tomorrowland, and I do hate that we skip out on it a lot. We go twice a year, and so I'm like, we'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. So anyway, I need to do it. Kevin's pushing me like, we have to do the People Mover, so I think that we definitely have to make that happen next time.
And you've been on the Carousel of Progress, though, right, too? Yeah.
Yes, I love the Carousel of Progress. It's like 12 or 13 minutes.
But yeah, that's long. The other one that would be a good one to go to, is the Carousel of Progress. And it's worth it. It really is. You know, if you want something kind of low key and still be, especially within the Disney theme, you know, a lot of people would be like, okay, so we want something low key, especially if we have kids. Go to It's a Small World. You know, if you have kids and you want low key things. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. Did you see that?
I don't want kids on the Carousel of Progress. They make too much noise to me.
I think that like the Carousel of Progress, like they would get bored.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, instantly when you said It's a Small World. Have you seen that video that's going around? That woman, I don't know if it's like at a different park. I don't think it was Walt Disney World. I think it was like at one of the parks, like maybe in Paris or somewhere else. And she's like offloading her kids out of the boat.
Oh, that was at Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah, that was at Disneyland.
I could just see her like with her, she's got her pants like rolled up. And you know, I don't know the context of the video, so I don't know why, you know, they were getting out. But like that's just like the image that popped in my head when you said the It's a Small World.
Yeah.
So my instant thought would be the laugh floor, the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. I don't want to spoil the movie for you if you haven't seen it, but at the end, they learn that laughs get you more energy than screams. So sorry if you hadn't seen the movie. I just ruined the end for you. But the laugh floor,
go watch it. It's still worth it.
I know. Go watch it. It's really good. They have like these big long benches, and it's just like the monsters, and they're putting on a little show. There's like a big, you know, like theater screen in front of you, and they're trying to make you laugh. So they're telling jokes. You can also text in your joke while you're standing in the queue. There's like signs that give you like the short code to text, and if they like it, they'll use it during the show, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But
so,
anyway,
and I've never done that. So that's on my to-do list next time we go to Magic Kingdom is to get on there, and it may be even on my bucket list of making sure that I have a joke on there being said, because I have a whole like dictionary worth of dad jokes. So
I love it.
Woo, yeah.
I texted in a joke, but they didn't tell my joke. But I thought it was really good.
Well, they may have had too many. I would love to hear the joke.
Okay, so hang on. Why do ducks have feathers?
Uh-oh. Why do ducks have feathers?
To cover their butt quack.
It's funny.
It's funny, right? Like it's a cute.
It's
like,
cute,
it's
funny.
Dad joke.
It's cute and funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
it's good.
a kid's. It's a kid's dad joke.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That would get a 5-year-old laughing. Yeah.
They didn't say it.
Yeah. No.
But I think it's good. I'm gonna keep trying it until they use it.
maybe they'll eventually just be like, this lady keeps submitting the same joke over and over. Just get it out of her system.
Yes, just play the joke, or she's not gonna stop.
Yeah, she's gonna spam it until it happens.
It's true. She's going to.
Yeah. But
all right. What else about Magic Kingdom?
I don't have anything else in my inventory there. The Carousel of Progress was there. Another ride though that is a little low key. It's exciting to some extent. The queue is really cool. When we went a couple of years ago, it was actually where we spent like almost 2 hours waiting out a storm, and that ride is Peter Pan's Flight. As a Peter Pan fan, it was great. Do I think it needs to be updated? Sure. But also, it's wonderful. You know, it's wonderful. It hits you in all the nostalgia places. You know, if you're a kid, and this is something else that I'm going to be talking about in a future episode. If you are an adult with Neverland mentality, like me, then you will definitely love Peter Pan's Flight.
The queue is really good.
It is.
My one complaint, and I don't know that it's a complaint or feedback, Disney, if you're listening, I'm just saying, like the queue is awesome, and the line gets really long. Mm-hmm. Like the wait time gets on up there. So the queue is great because you are immersed in all of these different rooms. But then when you get to get onto the ride, I feel like it's over.
Gondola, yeah.
Yes, it's over like so quick. Mm-hmm. And so I just wish it was like a little longer.
The ride itself?
Like the ride itself. Like can we shorten the queue a little bit and add more to the ride? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be pushing it a little bit, but it might. I would honestly like to have more interactions with Tinkerbell throughout the whole thing, because occasionally Tinkerbell kind of floats through, and Shadow does too, and you can kind of have fun with that. The only other one that I could compare it to, and this will be a good segue into next episode, is Frozen After Queue. There in Epcot.
Yes.
There's
so many good new rides at Epcot, so I don't want to get too far into it.
Yeah, but right.
It's gonna be a good episode.
Yeah.
Not that all of our episodes aren't good, but so much more good stuff to unpack.
Yep. So, well, I mean, we seem to have covered everything we needed to cover. Do you have anything you want to talk about specifically? Get off your chest?
Nothing I need to get off my chest, I don't think. I think I admitted to not being on the People Mover yet, and we need to make that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What about you?
I admitted that I hadn't been on the Tower of Terror yet. So, and that's something that I really need to fix. You've been on the Tower of Terror, right? Yeah. Okay.
I have. It's really good. So come October, we'll have to make that happen.
Yes, we will. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens. That's a big goal of ours, is to get there in October. Yeah. So.
Well, we shall make it happen.
Yes.
But thanks for joining us of Navigating Sensory Overload at Walt Disney World Part 1. There is still so much more to unpack on this topic, so we've split this into 2 episodes, so join us next week for Navigating Sensory Overload Part 2. Again, we're going to talk about Epcot and Animal Kingdom, as well as the DAS Pass, so the Disney Access Services Pass. We'll cover that a little bit as well. So we will see you all next time on Accessible Adventures, Episode 3, Part 2. See y'all later.
All right, guys. Bye.